Welcome to the World Entrepreneurship World Cup National Finals in Germany, hosted by Mainstage Incubator, and special thanks to our national partners, Clear Strategy and Bosch Startup Kitchen. Also, very much thank you for towards the MISC Global Forum, Global Entrepreneurship Network, and TGELF for giving us the chance and opportunity to be part of this great initiative. Up next, I would like to show you a short video before we introduce you to what TGELF and the Entrepreneurship World Cup is. Perfect. Again, I would now love to welcome Mr. Rohan Rao from TGELF onto the stage. Rohan.
Thank you so much, Sven. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all safe and well. On behalf of the Global Education and Leadership Foundation, we abbreviate ourselves as TGELF, one of the global organizers of the Entrepreneurship World Cup, alongside MISC Global Forum and Global Entrepreneurship Network, GEN. We are excited and honored to have you all here today for the EWC Germany 2020 National Final, hosted by our partners at Mainstage Incubator. We at TGELF are committed to the values of ethical innovation and progress, and as an organization have always had a particular bias for entrepreneurial initiative. This has resulted in our foundation going well beyond the work in the traditional realms of social welfare and education, where we're now currently present in over 14 countries with our curriculum into the vibrant field of enterprise support and development, be it through organizing entrepreneurship school curriculum with the Delhi government or working on ground towards the initiative of the Global Entrepreneurship Summit and World Economic Forum in Davos. So far, the journey with EWC has proven the project to become a success at scale, with over 100,000 applications received from over 187 countries last year to almost over 170,000 applications this year from 200 countries. We're already achieving even higher numbers, and we're extremely excited for the event that's going on today. I wish all the participants today the best of luck. And yet again, I'd like to thank all the judges for making it here. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rohan. Again, I would love you to talk a little bit about the prizes, but also maybe about the judges as well, if that is fine for you.
Absolutely. So the winners today are going to be winning $700,000 in prizes and various services from Amazon, from Google Cloud Services, etc. They're also going to get a position to a direct spot at the Global Entrepreneurship World Cup final. The runners-up, on the other hand, the second and third, are both going to be receiving $100,000 in services, both in kind, from the various partners that we have at Amazon, etc. And they will also be put into a larger pre-global final pool of startups where they will be evaluated from our global board, which will evaluate the rest of the startups and will also hold the chance to make it to the global national final, to the global final.
Okay, I forgot to unmute myself, so very sorry for that. But I think here we just want to show you what kind of prestigious judges we had, or the EWC had last year. And again, there were 100 plus mentors involved in here. There are 80 plus investors, but also industry experts in here. And I think this is the 2019 winner. And I think you can find this on the EWC website again. And just like Rohan introduced, I think we just skipped a bit parts, but that is okay. So here again, just to showcase you what the MISC Foundation is and the TGELF and GEN, but you can also look it up on Google. Coming back to me, again, my name is Sven Wegner. I'm the founder and CEO of Mainstage Incubator. And yeah, I'm really looking forward towards this session today. As always, we Germans, we like our orders. Just a quick overview of the agenda today. Welcome message, we've done this, we've done the EWC, and we'll be sure to make it on time and stick to the agenda. Now, with regards to startup pitching, we might change the order where motion miners will be pitching last due to some personal emergency, which needs to be taken care of. So instead of motion miners pitching between Untapped and Noor Medical, they will pitch at the spot of Ariadne Maps, and Ariadne Maps will pitch after Untapped. With every great event, there should be some successful judges behind it. And I'm really proud to say that we have some amazing people on the judging panel today. And having said so, I would like to open up the introduction round towards the judging panel. And the format would be A, why have you volunteered to become a judge? And then B, a personal information about you. Up first, I would like to invite Mr. Klaus Straub, the former CIO of BMW Group, onto the stage.
So why I've volunteered? Well, as when you ask me, and when you see my career and my life, I always was somebody who pushed more or less new technologies, but also young employees and give them a chance to have a stage and to grow and bring their ideas to life. And this is the reason why I want to be here, and where I can put in also some inputs, I do think, from my 20 years CIO career in the automotive industry.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Klaus. Thank you very much for giving an introduction. Up next, we have Peter Mersch. He's the CTO for Emea Central at Broadcom.
Thank you, Sven. So the question was, why did I join the judge? You know, normally I can see the mature startups when they scaled up and they're already going to enterprise customers. And at that time, you do not understand what is new in the industry and all of this, right? Starting, yes. So this is a very good point where I can understand what is coming in the future. Where does other people see opportunities to grow? Where other people can see technology footprint that need to be done. So this is very important. And I can see technologies coming up maybe 10 years before they're coming really into production. So this is very cool. I'm Peter Mersch, as Sven said, CTO Emea Central at Broadcom. And what I'm living in the 20 years I'm here is in big companies where we have technologies from agile, performance management, security, and all this kind of stuff. So I have a broad background about the technologies. So I like to look at this kind of here, and I'm very proud to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter, for that perfect introduction. Up next, we have Dipjyoti Deb from Bosch Startup Kitchen, who is also our national partner for this event. Dipjyoti, welcome.
Thanks a lot, Sven. I'm Dipjyoti from BSH Startup Kitchen, and why I joined this program? Well, one very important part is my background is I'm a physicist and I was doing research. There was a lot of learning process in it. And you cannot learn faster and better than a startup who have started their own business, being an entrepreneur and is going for a voyage where most of the things are uncertain. And one of my sole reason to join is learning. And on the other part, I believe I can also bring back some of my expertise, which can help the startup. So looking forward to it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dipjyoti. Thank you. Up next, we have Alexander Ripp, co-founder of Clear Germany. Clear is also today our national partner with EWC, together with Bosch Startup Kitchen. Alexander.
Hi, guys. Very glad to be here. It's very simple. Working with startups, it's always very exciting. The agility and speed they have sometimes, but also there's so much we can do. Having learned from 20 years of working for big multinationals, the tips and tricks of how you build brands that I feel that startups can profit from. So it's always great seeing how we can help startups and corporates alike to actually get along and scale up, what it is they're doing. And this is very exciting. So listening to all these ideas without having to do much, actually, it's a very good deal to be a judge on a panel and to see so many great ideas. It's a real no-brainer.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Alexander. Thank you. Up next, we have Max Schubert from Fidelity International. Max?
Thanks, Sven. Why did I join this jury? Obviously, because I've been asked kindly. Thanks, Sven. And also, I really love technology. I love marketing. I love delivery excellence, and I love new ideas. And I try to constantly feed myself with new inspiration, and what better place to get new inspiration than from the incredible startups that have been applying here. So also that combination of passion is what brought me to the jury, and I really hope that we can help the startups who participate here grow, either by them winning and they winning some of the amazing prizes, or us having the chance to give them some feedback that they might be valuable to them. So and helping people and organizations grow is the key thing that I try to do. I'm at Fidelity. I'm head of B2B marketing in Germany, and I'm trying to help Fidelity to transform a very traditional business into a more digital business, and also the impulses that I will get here will help me do that job well, and also provide feedback back, particularly in the areas of marketing, of scaling, and of implementing and actually getting stuff done. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Max. Thank you very much. Up next, we have Pedro Ferreira from Frankfurt Valley, and a lot of people know Pedro from the startup ecosystem from in Hessen, but also in Germany. Pedro.
Well, thank you, Sven. Just like Alex and Max said, so for me, it's all about inspirational, about passion and about fun. That was the main fact that made me decide to take part of this. And as an ecosystem builder, I see truly a great benefit for everyone that is taking part, either as a startup, judge, corporate partner, because I really believe as a platform, it's huge what we all have been doing. So I'm part of other platforms, just like Founders Institute, Singularity University. I'm an international advisor of Mainstage Incubator. So for me, I believe that this ecosystem is so good for everyone. That's why I decided to be part of it. And I really think that there are a lot of synergies and bridges that we can all explore. Either you win or lose. I think there is always opportunities for us to work together, and that's why I'm here to try to build those synergies and those bridges and to bring some impact projects into the table. And that's why I'm here. And thank you once again.
Thank you, Pedro. Thank you very much. Up next, we have Carolina Yu, and Carolina, just like as Pedro, is also wearing several hats. Before I name them, Carolina, why don't you tell us quickly why you've decided to come here, be a part of this judging panel, but also a bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. I think I'm here to learn. So I've already been inspired by the many ideas I've seen. I became a founder not very long time ago. I have more than 10 years experience in corporates, and the startup world is very fascinating for me, especially in a couple of areas, including, the area of learning, the area of getting people also to reach their potential is something that I care deeply about. And also looking at all the technology advancements. So the reason for me to join, I think partially is also with the thought to give back, because in my own startup journey, I have so many people who have supported me, gave time, give also, support us financially. So I would like to also give, my energy and passion back. I've worked across many different countries from Singapore originally. So I would like to, similar to Pedro in that sense, to build bridges and find synergies. And I think this is where the diversity of judges in this panel can come together and support. So I really want to wish all the startups here today all the best, regardless of the decision moving forward. You have really succeeded by being here today, presenting on this platform, and hope to reach out to you also separately, independently as well. For any questions, feel free to reach out to me later on.
Thank you very much, Cornel. Thank you for that introduction. Up next, we have Allison Ember, who is the COO and Managing Director at Embol Technologies GmbH in Frankfurt.
All right. Thanks, Sven. Can you guys see me? First time I'm turning on my video. Got my mask on, sitting outside. Can hold my phone finally. So yes, I'm Allison. You can hear from my accent, originally from the States. Have had a lot of experience in technology, primarily in Silicon Valley, and have been in Germany for the last 3 years. Have had the opportunity to work with Sven in the past. We have always kept a good relationship, and I'm always super curious to understand what he's up to, understand what kind of startups he's supporting, and was super excited when he went down the endeavor to start the main stage incubator, and looking at some of the companies he's working with and how he's helping develop the ecosystem. When he asked me to be a judge, I said, absolutely, yes. I am passionate about technology, about growing teams, and similar to Carolina, I want to give back. Moving here, 3 years ago and trying to get into the German startup ecosystem is not super easy. I've invested in a handful of startups. I've consulted, I've done due diligence, both here, Austria, as well as in California. And so really just looking to get more inspired, understand the ecosystem in Germany a bit more, and also on a global stage, and really helping German startups. So excited to be a part of the panel and appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Allison. Thank you very much for those kind words. Up next, we have another celebrity in the German startup ecosystem. His name is David Voda, and he leads the WeWork labs in Germany, Hungary, and this third country I forgot. Maybe David, why don't you talk about yourself, please?
Hi, yeah, thank you very much, Sven, also for the invitation to be here today. It's quite an honor for myself. And yeah, so it's actually the other country is the Czech Republic. But why am I taking part here today? So I'm an entrepreneur by heart, so to say, and I'm absolutely, I think, passionate, as I think many of you stated already, about business models and growing business models, especially digital or let's say technology-driven business models. So whenever I have the chance to somehow support like the global or regional or national innovation ecosystems, I'm in, especially on such an amazing global level like we have it here at the EWC. And yeah, I think after like almost a decade of being an entrepreneur myself and founding and scaling my own ventures, I always say I probably made all the mistakes a founder can make. So today, like leading this kind of accelerator or growth program for WeWork in some really amazing locations and ecosystems, it is really for me about kind of, giving back, and also, yeah, just making sure that startups and especially founders can not just grow commercially, but also personally, and maybe not make the really stupid mistakes that I made, or at least fail faster and in the right way than I did, and learn from it. So yeah, this is why I'm here today, and happy to see what is going to happen. Happy to see amazing founders and amazing business models today. And yeah, thanks again for the opportunity to be here and be part of it.
Perfect. Thank you very much, David. Thank you. And again, thank you to all the judges for taking your time here today. Really appreciate it. You've got some busy schedules. And again, thank you very much for being here and judging the startups. Having said so, I think the introduction round is over. Before we go to the startups, I'd just like to tell everyone an overall history about what actually happened in the past 3 months. So in total, we had 200 applications from Germany. Those applications were then screened based on a few criteria levels. It was then down to around 1 judging for around 80 startups, and which then got where we then got the 8 startups in the finals. But again, there were some really great pitches in there. And there was no influence from me. If it were for me, I would have just put everyone into the finals because they were all so great. But for that, we have a neutral jury person in the judging panel to do the job for that. Having said so, I would like to invite on stage Packet Eco with their pitch.
Hello, everyone. You can hear and see me? Good. Yes, thanks for being the one starting the startup floor. So my name is Markus Dangelmeier from Packet Eco, and I'm
extremely sorry to interrupt, Markus. I'm very sorry to interrupt. Everyone, before we start, can everyone please enable the closed caption button, which is right near the share screen button? Thank you very much, and apologies once again.
No problem. Good. So my name is Markus Dangelmeier. I'm the founder of Packet Eco. Starting with some various pressure points on sustainable sourcing, where we see these. We see them in society, an importance of environmental protection and sustainable. We see them on the politics, the changes to laws on CO2 reduction coming up, plastic bans starting in 2021. We see them also from a consumer side and increasingly demand for sustainable processes and products. Cost-wise, the economic pressure is still high, and sustainable sourcing, sustainable products are still much more expensive than the standard one. And from a process side, sustainable sourcing and the digital transformation is still not a core process for a lot of business and companies. So we came up with a B2B sourcing platform for sustainable products, which we actually developed in the last 1.5 years. Our work is based on a sustainability assessment. We're providing standard products in a shop where we soon will enable customization. Anything which cannot be found for our B2B customers in the shop, we provide the tender management, and soon a digital product and sustainability assistant will be implemented. Supplier-wise, we have over 15 suppliers on the platform right now. We have over 25 B2B customers already with recurring orders. Products, we have over 750 from a product range, mainly on the service packaging, focusing at the moment, individual packaging and complementary products being selected right now. Our targets groups is the farm direct marketeer market, so anyone selling products directly from farms, which is about 40 to 50,000 in Germany alone. We have delivery services with the big brands, but also a lot of smaller companies in different cities, and CSR focusing companies from various sizes. Our work is based on a triple bottom line approach, where we see the mixture of people, planet, and profits in focus for supporting the Sustainable Development Goals 12 and 13. On one side, responsible consumption and production. So we want to make sure that the products are actually produced in a proper way. On the other side, climate action, we supporting our business customers reducing their CO2 emissions. Where we see our market share, we're coming from a global sustainable packaging market, further drilling down to a single-use food service items market in Europe, as this is our first target market, and everything which is sold sustainable and online, targeting first for 1% market share in the upcoming years. Team, broad experience. We have Natalie with being an expert for sustainable packaging. We have Lucas having worked quite a few years in an expert of digital business. Myself, over 20 years in IT and logistics implementation, and supported by quite a few people already. Experts for sustainability, marketing and sales, and another expert for packaging technology just recently joined. We have, we see the perfect timing now for sustainable and digitalization. There's a rising demand from various areas. Society, consumers is definitely on the rise. We have Corona the last month already showed, and the rising demand for to-go and delivery, also for regional sourcing, which will help us on the direct market as target area. And we still have a fragmented market where we have various suppliers, from smaller ones, big market players, which are already on our platform, but also supporting smaller companies, reaching for them the market they desire, and where we help them to grow constantly in the next years. This is a sneak preview on our page. We are just redesigning our page, which will be, and the shop, which will be launched in September. And yes, get sustainability going as our target for the next years and months to come. Thanks a lot.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Marcus, for presenting us your startup today. Now I would open up the round for the judges for some Q&A sessions.
Thanks a lot, Marcus, for your presentation. I have a question regarding the change in price. So let's say if I see in your website the food box, how would it be if someone shifts from what they are doing at present to the sustainable box? What would be the cost change for them per unit? A rough estimation would also be okay.
A rough estimation is probably something like 1.5 the price, up to 2. It depends, definitely sizes, amounts, but that's roughly something, let's say 1.5.
Thank you.
Marcus, may I ask another question
Sure.
on business model? So obviously you're following a platform business model, and you mentioned market share that you want to capture. What's the revenue that you will generate on the market share to capture?
So as an aim for this year, next year, or generally, or
As a let's say percentage revenue that you see in the next 2-3 years?
Sorry. So we see about 10 to 15%.
Okay, and that how are you making that revenue? Is it just markup on the sales on the platform, or is there a basic platform fee?
No, at the moment we started actually without any basic platform fee, as we wanted to have the suppliers first on the platform. With additional features, we will potentially add pricing for the suppliers. And with tender management and customization, we will also have add-on fees for various services being provided. But at the moment, it's a turnover fee.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marcus. Thanks for the presentation. Do you have plans to go international beyond Germany?
So if all goes well, we want to go after Germany to the neighboring countries, first language-wise, Austria, but then other European countries. Well, let's assume everything goes really well, then a bit further, but definitely Central Europe is on the plan for the next 2 to 3 years. Yeah.
All right. Thanks. All the best.
Thank you.
Hi, Marcus. There are currently laws just regarding the whole sustainable value chain just discussed in Germany. I do think this counts also your solution counts also in this area that the value chain will be more transparent, what has happened in the past, yes? Am I right there?
Yes, absolutely. So this whole consideration of how things are being processed, prepared, and along the whole, not only supply chain, actually production chain, is in the focus. It's definitely something we cannot fully overview at the moment, but on the long run, we want to make sure that the sourcing is also done properly. So in an overall approach, we definitely want to have a focus on this too. So yes, that's on the, let's say, on the triple bottom line approach where we see the people, I would see this covered.
But if you have good luck there, a law is coming in Germany, and all these international companies has to have transparent value chains, and then you have the solution, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Markus, so obviously that could be an accelerator for your growth. What is your month-over-month growth at the moment, and where are you at in terms of sales?
So we just recently started. As I said, we have the first customers. So we probably gain 5 to 10 customers per month. But yeah, actually starting fully at the beginning. So we decided to relaunch the platform again, and then starting with more sales activities now after the summer holidays in Germany being finished.
Okay, so can you see acceleration?
Yes, we can, definitely. At the moment, we have direct sales now enabling automated sales, but we definitely see the need. So people are eager to get in contact with us, either actually directly approached via Google already, or via direct sales. So no, it looks like there's a need out there.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Markus, and thanks, judges, for the questions.
Thanks a lot.
Markus, if you could stop sharing your screen, then we could move on to the next startup.
Oops, sorry.
Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. Up next, we have Blinken on stage. Blinken, the stage is yours.
So you should see the screen. Is this correct?
Yes, we can see your
perfect,
screen. Yes.
Perfect. So yeah, hello everyone. I'm Joseph, co-founder of Blinken. And give me a second. So yeah, that's me. And I want to start basically our pitch today with a simple question. Imagine you are this lady right now and you're having a breakdown with your car. The question is now, what is now the most important tool for solving these kind of a technical problem? Is it a hammer in this case? Is it a screwdriver? Or is it the telephone? A tool which was invented in the year 1860, by the way. The question is now why in the year 2020, a telephone is still so important. We have seen that people like to use a telephone because it's an immediate solution and a simple solution which they can use when they need a problem. People don't want to write an email in that situation. They don't want to chat, or they don't want to use a manual. But is a simple audio call in the year 2020 really the best thing what we can do with our very expensive smartphones? Look at this kind of a conversation which is happening millions of times a day. For example, a person is having a breakdown with his car and he's seeing maybe a strange symbol on the dashboard. He describes the symbol as a helicopter in the first run, and then this helicopter transitions into a fish. And I'm pretty sure that every one of us has seen this helicopter fish at least once in his driving career, I would say. The question is, why do we have and why do we accept these kind of conversations in the dark, where one party does not get what the other party is trying to explain over an audio call? With Blinken, we are empowering people to understand and solve a problem visually, without going there, no matter if this is now a car breakdown, a broken coffee machine, or an expensive B2B machine. All you need is a phone and a link. By clicking on that link, we are establishing a video connection without drama. There is no app download required or no registration needed. With drawing and documentation features, people can now easily collaborate and solve the problem remotely and visually. We have created Blinkin for a better customer service, for a quicker problem resolution, for less on-site visits, and also for a smaller carbon footprint of a corporate. Wuhan has proven that we are not a nice-to-have solution. We are a must-have solution, because with our solution, we are also enabling social distancing. And for us, Wuhan was not a showstopper. It was even a kind of a back burner. One of our customers, Huberana, a small, medium-sized company in Germany, used our video collaboration platform directly in Wuhan and guided local technicians on site to install their air handling units in the hospitals. And all was happening out of Germany. Another customer of us, Velo, enterprise with 8,000 employees who are doing water pumps, they maintained the critical infrastructure in Milan during the lockdown. With Blinkin, we are right now active in 48 countries, and we are used, and our customers are coming from various industries with all kind of background, from a small, medium-sized company in the machinery up to a defense corporate with 20 billion of revenues. We are targeting two markets. On the one hand, the field service support market with 20 million field technicians who are traveling daily from A to B. And we are also tackling the insurance claims market, because we have understood that an insurance claim is not so much different in comparison to a reporting tech support problem. But at Blinkin, we want more. We want making collaboration frictionless and simple and without drama on the one hand. But we do not want to stop here. We want that everybody really can solve his technical problems in a smart way. That's why we are developing a digital assistant for self-service, which enables people to help themselves whenever they need help 24/7. In future, there's hopefully no need for manuals or audio calls anymore. With our video call platform and our digital virtual assistant, we are changing how tech support is given in future. Behind Blinkin, there's a multinational team of experts with several years of domain expertise. We have built in the past scalable software products, and we have seen startups, we did startups, we failed, we have our scratches, but we also have on the other side also the experience how successful startups looks like, and also how corporates work and think. And creating scalable machines is also what one of our team members already did. Blinkin is a team of 15 people. Basically, we consider us as an Indo-German startup. And what shares, what connects all of our team members is the vision of giving the world a help button. Thanks so much so far, and happy to have your questions.
All right, maybe can I start?
Sure.
Well, I love your vision. I love your product. I really enjoyed your pitch. I think you described very well the problem, the solution, the benefits, the market. You even gave some use cases or examples of clients. So this part was really good. I really enjoyed as well your team. It seems that you have a very good team there. I just would like to understand one point that I think you didn't mention, which is the business model, how you generate revenue, and if you are generating any revenues right now, because I think this is what you missed saying.
So a simple business model. We are a SaaS company. Each technician or each expert on the hotline has a license. We build that license annually right now. It's quite cheap, to be honest. And our visual bot, this is right now very much project-based, and this is a pay-per-usage model. That's it, basically. Straightforward business model, easy to sell.
Okay, and can you give us some numbers on that easy to sell business model and how you're scaling at the moment?
I can give you some kind of numbers. Unfortunately, we consider them as confidential. It's recorded. Okay. We don't know what and how and who, but we have right now a monthly growth of over 20%. Yeah, so that's kind of, and we are, yeah, as I said, active in 48 countries. So yeah.
So if you are active in 48 countries, is the app translated in 48 languages or
19 languages right now? And we also were quite simple and frictionless. We asked our customers to do so because COVID made it possible that they said, we want to have your solution. And we said, unfortunately, we don't support your language. Could you help us? And they said, yes, we like to do so. So that's how we did it.
So one question from my side, perhaps a stupid question, I don't know. Now, what is the difference between these Zoom and Teams and all these video conferences? And which part of the value chain do you have? Have you implemented your application on these platforms, or are you rebuilding Zoom once more?
Perfect question. Thanks for that. So basically, we want to be simple as Zoom and WhatsApp and FaceTime, name them all. On the other hand, we are focusing on the back camera. These are all tools, what you named, are focusing on the front camera. It's for having a chit chat with your loved ones, with your colleagues and whatever. We are building a tool which is focused on the back camera and give the corporate who are using our services tools that they can really share knowledge in a very easy way, that they can collect and document information which are gathered during a call. And yeah, and then we have the vision of automation, as said, with the digital assistant. And our video collaboration platform is really the first start, the first step on the vision of automating of tech support, recurring problems.
So you are implementing it scratch up on a
basically, yes. Of course, you can use us as an app on Teams. That's what we're doing right now, because that was one feedback of one big corporate who said, hey, we are using Teams. Please make us kind of an app where we just can, get your experience. And that we said is also fine for us. That's what we for sure have to figure out. Where do we integrate? What vehicle can we drive? What opportunity can we drive? But basically, we're a standalone version, and we see a good traction and a good demand from the customer side here.
Where exactly does the customer demand come from? Sorry.
Go ahead.
So we got recently featured in 2 pages in Handelsblatt because of the Wuhan story. We got coverage in Asia, in the US, and right now it's everything is inbound, so we did quite good PR, I would say, without really spending one single euro on advertisements on Google Ads or whatever.
Great.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we need to move on to the next slide. Next startup.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph.
So I have to stop somehow, right? And where's the
up
button?
next, I would like to invite Apida onto the stage.
Can you see our screen or the presentation mode? Screen? Okay. Okay, so hello and welcome from Darmstadt. My name is Marcus. I'm CTO of Apida, and I have the honor to introduce us and our product to you all. At Apida, we build mission-critical products and solutions in the areas of API, identity, and data. So that is where our name comes from. And we have strong ties to both universities in Darmstadt. And in fact, a lot of our top talent is sourced from those 2 universities. Now, our management team consists of a great mix of people. You have people like Stefan and myself with a more startup-like background, and you have the others with a more corporate one. So Detlef, for example, has run Software AG, one of the biggest software companies in Germany, and Armin has run the customer success operations for CA Technologies in all of Europe. Now, the product I'm going to introduce to you is called Apida Mobile Authentication. And the thing about authentication is it either works or it doesn't. And you need a lot of expertise to get it right. So our strategy was to use this expertise as we build it up to consult our clients, to do solution design. And this strategy worked out quite well. So in 2019, we had a revenue of about 3 million euros. And this year we're aiming for 5 million. The launching customer for our solution is Lufthansa. And they really helped us to shape the product in a way that it is useful for everyday's work life. And we're now ready to roll out to a wider audience. And we're in the process of kicking off a dedicated marketing push to make that happen. Now, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about authentication? Probably it's passwords. Passwords have been around for decades and they haven't changed a lot, right? Don't fix what ain't broken. But authentication is broken and it is severely broken. Now, passwords are susceptible to theft, to sharing, and they require constant management and handling. According to a survey from Microsoft, 42% of all help desk calls are password reset calls. And according to Verizon, 80% of data breaches are caused by compromised, weak, or reused passwords. And now let me explain why, in my opinion, reused passwords are even more dangerous than the stolen ones. Now, the problem with reusing passwords is that you have to trust every service you enter your password, be it Slack, be it Zoom, whatever, right? Can't be difficult. Everybody should know how to treat passwords, but that's where you're wrong. So even Facebook got that wrong with millions of passwords stored in their log files in clear text. Now, what do? You force the user to confirm his login action, right? Get the companion app, get the push notification, confirm, or even worse, get that 6-character alphanumeric code and spending the next 5 minutes deciding if it's a small L or a capital I. Now, our approach is different. So why keep the password if we know that it is insecure? Just get rid of it. So we propose the adoption of passwordless authentication. Well, obviously, we're not the only smart persons on the planet. So Gartner identified passwordless authentication as one of the top security trends in 2019. So seems like we have the right product at the right time. Now, according to Gartner, almost all small and medium-sized companies will adopt passwordless, and a lot of the big ones as well. Now, what does it mean in numbers? Now, the more refined category of multi-factor authentication is worth $12.5 billion, according to Markets and Markets, with an annual growth rate of 15%. So we're talking about a double-digit growth market here. And with most companies rethinking their home office strategy because of the pandemic, we expect these numbers to even rise. So without further ado, I'm proud to introduce you to Apida Mobile Authentication, providing passwordless authentication for the desktop and the web. Now, the screenshots below illustrate the log onto a Windows client as an example. So you open up our app, you push the login button, authenticate yourself using Face ID, and the system logs you into your Windows workstation. And you can not only authenticate against Windows, but also again, remote desktop, Citrix, against Office 365, Slack, Zoom, Salesforce, you name them. And that is because we support the widest variety of protocols in the market. We support certificate-based authentications, FIDO2, SAML, OpenID Connect, and more. Now, let's have a look at the benefits. So Apida Mobile Authentication stores all the needed keys in your phone in a special, highly secured area that is called the Trusted Execution Environment. Now, the operating system of your phone is not able to access this environment directly. And we're now in the process of certifying mobile authentication as FIDO Level 2+. And that is the highest standard you can achieve if you're not building custom hardware. And this is unique in the market. There is no other 2+ certified phone-based authenticator right now, not a single one. Now, with mobile authentication, you're not bound to anything, right? You can run it on almost every device. You can run it everywhere, whenever you want, even in the plane, because we fully support offline scenarios. And that is because all the communication happens locally, only between the phone and the client. No internet connection needed. So some of our competitors, they use remote push messages. So if your phone is not connected to the internet, you're out of luck. Now, sorry. So let's talk about cost, right? That's one of the most interesting things to talk about. Remember those help desk calls because of forgotten passwords? They're gone. They doesn't exist anymore. And it's not only the help desk calls. It's all that waiting time your workforce waits until the access is restored. Now, as we don't need any custom hardware, we have no personalization.
Marcus, I hate to interrupt you, but your time is up.
Okay.
Question, answer?
Thank you, Marcus. It was a very interesting topic and a very relevant topic at present scenario. What I want to understand is there's a challenge in context of when you want to change behavior of a user. So if they are used to it in a certain way, I understand from the B2B prospect, it might not be the biggest challenge, but how do you see this aspect of when the user is dealing with a completely different way of authentication? And do you face any big challenge here?
No, we don't face any big challenge here. So the thing is, what's the current behavior? Current behavior is putting in that password and being frustrated because you put it in wrong or you have to change it every 90 days. So easing that process is kind of a relief, right? You do it easy, you make it easier for the user, and that helps with that behavior change. Now, the second thing is that everyone is used to using the smartphone, right? So you check your messages or whatever. So bringing in the smartphone as a second factor, they don't feel alienated, right? It feels quite natural. And this is why we haven't had any behavioral issues in the pilots we were doing or with the customers we're dealing with right now.
I have a question. What's your go-to market? I mean, who's your customer, and how do you really how do you create this behavior change in a really tangible way with all these corporations? Pretty much anyone right now.
Yeah. So our go-to market is a twofold one. So what we do is due to our consulting services that we provide as well in that space, we have contacts and we have customer relationships with a lot of the bigger companies. And we use that for what we call a land and expand strategy to get those enterprise grade customers onto our solution. At the same time, as I just said, we're preparing the marketing push. We're opening up a completely digital channel. And what we plan to do is that you can test drive the solution inside your network if you want to, with as less friction as it gets. So you need like 15 to 30 minutes of your time, and then you can use it in your production environment. That is something that the competition can't offer right now. So they have to set up an IT project, internal IT project or whatever. You don't need that with us. So second way of going to market is push via online marketing, via search engine optimization, via targeted advertising, and get people to just try it, right? So we got a free tier up to 10 users, so you can just try it free of charge and see if it suits you.
One question from my side. Well, as I understood, your access identity management solution is on application level. Now, the next step will be that this is on data level. That means the data are stored and secured. Is it possible from your architecture that you are also going this way, for example, in 2 or 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, sure. So what we currently evaluating is providing some kind of SDK so that you can have event-driven step-up authentication. So you do something with your data, or you do something with a certain type of data, and then you're required to authenticate again and make sure it's really you that accesses the data. So to get rid of those privacy issues. And the object that we are securing is not really that important. It's basically as long as we can hook into one of the standard protocols, we're fine. We can secure almost anything.
Thank you very much, Marcus. Thank you, judges, for the questions. Now move on to the next startup, Apollo AR. Apollo AR, you're next.
Hello. I'm quite glad to be here. I hope you can see my screen. Can you? I think so. Wonderful. Yeah, I'm from Apollo AR. I'm quite excited about being here and presenting the company to you. Now, let me see if I can go forward. Why can I not? Okay. Yeah, well, my name is Michael Immeke. I'm the founder of Apollo AR. I'm managing the company together with Vikram, who is my partner. And my background is being an interior designer. And I've been teaching at the German Institute for the Application of Light for everything regarding light and software development related to light. And as being in this position, I worked at several universities, and I've been a guest as teacher for many companies all around Europe and the US. And as you can guess from this, my target is the lighting market and architectural lighting in particular, which is a market of 133 billion euros per year. And our aim, our target is to get 100 million euros share per year, which is probably not next year or in 2 years' time, but that's our aim. What is our promise? We're promising the people that we're going to ease the sales process with Luminaire, which is our product, and we open up markets with the Luminaire. And as you can guess from the A and R, which are pronounced in the writing, that augmented reality is one of the key features that we are using. Now, let me explain why we think, or why we not only think, we are sure, we notice already that we're easing the sales process for online and offline sales. So for the online sales, they have the difficulty that clients are very often not satisfied, and they have a return rate of goods of about 15% and sometimes even more. With our product, they can lower the cost because they can reduce the return rate. And with that, at the same moment, we have a higher customer satisfaction. This is even true for the offline dealership, which is in Europe at least still more common. The offline dealer, the traditional dealer, it could be in the installer as well, they can reduce their costs because they can show more products with less exhibition space needed. And they can improve their service because they can show products that they do not have in their shop using the augmented reality, which we have improved beyond the traditional augmented reality models. The more professional lighting designer, consultant, architect, they are used to sample products. And this becomes more or less unnecessary in the future using our app. It is less work and it's environmentally better because the manufacturers of these products typically have 3 or 5 cycles for each product before they have to throw it away, because they're sending it out, getting it back, unpacking, packing, all these things. And then after 3-5 times, they're not usable anymore, not suitable anymore for being expedited to the next client. That's why they're thrown away, which is a financial factor for the companies as well as a big environmental effect. Then I mentioned that we want to open up markets, or we already do it quite a lot. That has been something through our steep learning process that we are creating so many requests from several countries, in particular the complete region of Dubai, Saudi Arabia, this region. India is very strong, as well as the region around Malaysia, Singapore, these regions. So we said, well, we have the requests, and many manufacturers from the European side do not have the resources, not really the capacity of serving these. And that's something that we are doing. So we are serving these, helping these companies to get onto these markets in particular, though we are serving all markets around the globe. So how do we achieve this? Is that we're doing augmented reality beyond the traditional way. So we have the model of the luminaires, but we have made ourselves capable of also showing the lighting effect of the luminaires. So that's why we state luminaire shows the light, because you have or you want to buy a luminaire because of the light, not only of the luminaire as an object. So we make it possible that people can make a decision or take a decision without having the real luminaire at hand. And that's something that, as an architect or lighting designer, what I basically was the last 15 years, what I started is. So we started about 2 years ago with the use case, and we tried that out. Now, with doing this and starting it as kind of a test bed 2 years ago and getting to market last year, we now have 10 paying manufacturers. We're cooperating with 3 dealer chains. One is the second largest in Germany, the other is the largest cooperative in Germany, and the largest one in the Arabian region as well. We're counting, since we launched it about a year ago, 1.5 years, with 20,000 professional users as of today, and we want to achieve 50,000. And we're making money by a license fee from the manufacturer, and that's starting this year, by the end of this year, getting a margin from the sales we're facilitating. That's only a 1 to 10% margin, depending on where we are, the size of the deal we're closing for the companies, but that's what we're making the money from. And then there's a little side effect. Through the money savings, through the savings of sampling and sending things out, we're achieving about 350 tons per year of carbon reduction and a lot of electronic scrap we're saving for the world. That's it from my side. I'm open for your questions. Thank you for listening, by the way.
Thanks a lot, Michael. I have a question regarding the aspect of USB. So is the USB more connected to the AR technology itself, or the USB is connected to the aspect of the design that you bring along with the AR?
Mm-hmm. So I mentioned that we had quite a steep learning curve. So we started with the AR part. The AR part is, in the way we do it, rather unique. And because we're going beyond the traditional AR models. And that's where we started. And then it took us about 6 weeks when we had 10,000 users almost only in the region of Saudi Arabia, Dubai, and this region. And they always said, okay, now that we're seeing these things, we want to buy them. So it's turned out to become something of a platform where the manufacturer said, okay, now we have the products on, you've got the buyers. Could you get these two worlds together? So now what we start for us something like an augmented reality catalog now turns into a business model for selling these things or facilitating the sales.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any other competitors you know of?
There have been 2 approaches to use augmented reality for lighting. 4 in fact, 2 have totally failed at showing the light, so they have been totally incapable. And the 2 others had very isolated solutions of not having a platform and being only focused on a certain amount of products. So they don't have the flexibility. They're not reaching out to other companies and not to a global approach. So they have prepared something that they can only hand on the cell phone to their own representatives, which is not suitable for a wide market, as we're reaching out to about 50,000 this year. Mm-hmm. So they're counting their users in dozens, not even hundreds.
Thanks, Michael. I have a question. Because I have experience previously in the construction engineering industry, I would like to ask, how are the decisions made for lightings? That's something I don't really know. Is it more relationship based, or because I can imagine the different players already work based on past relationships? So how would your product be able to convince them differently based on your experience so far?
Yeah, sure. So from my teaching background, I know quite the entire range. So if you're from the construction business and you're talking, for example, about a storage facility, then it's just number crunching. No one will decide we'll take this or that luminaire because it looks in a certain way. So that's not the field that we're concentrating on. That's why if you count down the numbers we have just in question in brackets 100 million. But if you have anything decorative, then we are up. Even office lighting is decided, okay, I like this more than that, because we can take an office lighting, there are office everywhere. You can place a luminaire, an AR model luminaire next to a desk and see, okay, am I covering this space? Am I covering 2 tables? Is 1 luminaire sufficient to cover 2 workplaces? And with the next expansion, we'll be even able to show that in numbers. So that we say, okay, we're achieving certain lux values, which is to calculate light. So we're able to reflect also these things. And anything decorative, anything for hospitality, we're serving perfectly. Okay, so that everyone is open to competition.
Okay, so the 115 billion market is for decorative lighting, right? The
133 billion is for the architectural lighting. And if you break it down, we say, okay, we are relevant for about 85% of these products. And if we say we have a 10% penetration of the market, and when we take just 1% as our share of that, then you achieve at 100 million.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, judges. Thank you, Michael, for presenting your startup.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a big pleasure for me.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Up next, we have Untapped onto the floor. Untapped. Oops, I think some technical errors. Yes, here we go. Again, Untapped, the stage is yours.
Thank you. I hope you can see the screen. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. First of all, I'm humbled to be at a platform from where I can make an impact to every single one's life. My name is Sumit. I'm the founder and CEO of Untapped. In December of 2015, a close friend of mine met with a car accident in a remote location of Assam in Northeast India. Unfortunately, she did not survive the accident. And I was baffled to know that vehicular accidents are the third biggest reasons of death all across the globe. Majority of that happen in remote locations because of someone else's rash driving or because there is a delay in emergency response to the victims who go through these accidents. Now, almost all the automotive companies and various startups and different companies are trying to solve this $270 billion problem by deploying over 100 million vehicles, which send data to the cloud directly with the help of mobile network. Now, there's a problem with this. The problem is that they cannot cater to over 50% of these accidents which happen in remote locations. And when I say remote location, I mean areas which receive little to no mobile network, and hence there is no internet connectivity. So what do we do about it? We enable communication in an offline basis, as simple as that. So we do communication without the use of mobile network, as well as with the help of mobile network. The communication is directly between vehicles, so it's a decentralized peer-to-peer communication topology. We also partner with emergency response providers so that if there is anyone who needs an emergency in any location, they'll be able to access it on time. So it's a combination of a hardware and the software. The hardware enables the offline as well as an online mode, the hybrid mode of communication, and the platform enables the decentralization and peer-to-peer network of connectivity. The hardware can go on as a retrofit for the existing manufacturing line for automotive companies, and it can also go in as a plug-and-play device for all the vehicles which are already in the market, hence catering to all the vehicles on the road. So this is what the solution is going to look like. Imagine various vehicles on the Autobahn, and in your vehicle, on the device's dashboard, you can see different notifications from any accidents that have happened in terms of different road conditions, or if there is anyone who is driving improperly, which might cause you trouble in terms of accidents, right? And that way, you will be able to increase your safety. We are proud to have certain unique features. One of them is the hybrid mode. We can communicate offline as well as online, and that too at a long range. This is a patent pending technology with us. The network is entirely decentralized and the platform is intelligent. And when I say intelligent, we can communicate not only beyond 5 kilometers, but if needed, an SOS can be triggered up to tens and hundreds of kilometers. And all of these have been tested on live vehicles in real-time scenario in a hilly area of Sikkim where I live from. In terms of the competitive landscape, yes, we obviously have competition. Daimler, Continental, Tesla, they are doing a fabulous job. Tesla impacts the driver safety directly, but they are not connected with other vehicles. Daimler, Continental do similar things. There's a company called Venium who is trying to communicate between vehicles, but it is not decentralized. That is where we come in. We impact driver safety directly with a decentralized network. Our business model is purely simple. We are targeting vehicle manufacturers. They already have their value proposition as driver safety. And with our solution, the driver safety increases by multiple folds. And in terms of revenue, we're going to sell the device and provide the platform on a subscription basis. The similar value proposition and revenue model is going to go for mobility startups like Bird, Unu, tier, etc. Now, to achieve that, we understand that we require great team. I am an electronics communication engineer with an extensive research in the next generation of vehicles, how they are going to perform in terms of connectivity, autonomous driving. Yash, my co-founder, is a VP of R&D, a computer science engineer, and an expert in IoT. He also founded an e-commerce platform back in 2012. We're currently based out of Frankfurt, and I am here to make traveling by road safer every day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sumit. The questions are open for the jury.
Thank you, Sumit.
One question from my
is,
side.
Have you were in touch with the manufacturers, and what was their response?
In touch of the manufacturers in terms of automotive companies, yes, we have pipeline of potential customers. We have received feedback, and we are pretty close to getting a POC with them.
Okay, thanks.
And
What does this mean? Now, the cars, as you said, they have this infrastructure inside, and it's law that they have more or less for tele aid and all these kind of things. Also, motorcycles do have this. Now you have to replace, as I understood, this infrastructure in the cars. How expensive is this part which you want to put in one vehicle?
It's definitely not expensive, and we do not have to replace any existing part.
How much? 10 euros?
So it's going to cost
euros?
Yeah. So the price depends on what is the volume of sales that is going to happen. It can range somewhere from $150 to $300. And to answer your first question, we do not have to replace any part. It can go on as a plug and play system.
Sumit, sorry. So my question is, what would make the manufacturers not do it themselves? So why
we have a patent pending?
Go ahead.
Yeah, we have a. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we have a patent pending technology, and this technology can enable vehicles like an Audi can communicate with a BMW, or various vehicles can communicate with different vehicles. So it creates a holistic ecosystem of not just four-wheelers or trucks, but even two-wheelers and small mobility startup like e-vehicles and e-scooters as well. That is the advantage they get.
Sumit, I also understood that there is a subscription model behind it. Who is paying it? Is it the manufacturer or the owner of the vehicle that pays for the ongoing usage?
So the subscription for the platform will be paid by our customers, not the end users. So vehicle manufacturers will be paying for it.
You spoke of a decentralized network. So obviously this means that you guys need a critical mass of vehicles that have it for it to work. Yes. So what do you think the critical mass would be in Germany in order for this to actually be viable?
So in terms of the vehicles or devices on road, we believe even 2 or 3 vehicles in a small city can enable this decentralized network. But we aim to obviously have over 100,000 vehicles and devices on the road.
Yep.
One more thing, if there's no other questions, I'm assuming you check the frequency licenses of your crazy band or length or reach that you're getting.
That is an amazing question, Alex. Thank you for asking that. So there is this thing called duty cycle, which we have already figured out how to go about with the duty cycle, not just in Europe, but also in USA. That is something which will come up as another potential patent for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sumit. Your time is up. Thank you, judges.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Up next, I would like to invite Noor Medical to the stage. Noor Medical, if you could come on stage and present. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, everybody. Are you able to see my screen? All good?
No, please try again. Please try sharing again.
No, not yet.
Share screen.
Yeah, I see you.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Are you able to see? Thank you. Okay, thank you everybody for this opportunity. My name is Andrew Bonov. I'm co-founder of Noor Medical. To begin, I'd like everyone to think of a time when you or a loved one underwent surgery. You probably had to worry about many things, but not the sterility of the instruments being used. However, for 1.5 billion people in the world, this is simply not the case. Noor Medical provides off-the-grid healthcare clinics with a solar sterilizing solution, thus enabling them to provide safer surgery. Our co-founder Saji Zaga, who co-managed the construction of rural healthcare clinics in Chad, such as the one you see here, he met many people who don't have access to safe surgery. And in fact, 1 out of 3 patients in the developing world suffer from post-operative infections. Why is this the case? The existing medical instrument sterilization solutions on the market are either very expensive or they have a low sterilization effectiveness. Our hybrid autoclave, which we call the Hyperclave, is a device to sterilize medical instruments and helps to solve these issues. The Hyperclave can operate with a diversity of energy inputs, including the energy of the sun, and it exceeds the medical instrument sterilization standards set forth by the World Health Organization. Through our work, we've identified a strategic price point, which lies far below the price of conventional sterilization solutions, which often cost around $1,500 USD. And in addition, we offer functional advantages that our competitors simply do not provide. Already, we've established partnerships with healthcare networks Adventist Health International and DFAM, who are also our early adopters, having confirmed the interest in acquiring 80 of our Hyperclave units. And additionally, in the past few months, we've gained partnerships with the Fraunhofer Institute to integrate something called steam jet technology, which allows our Hyperclave to also create vacuum conditions and therefore increase the range of surgical instruments that we can then sterilize, which in the words of Médecins Sans Frontières, or Doctors Without Borders, is a game changer for small-scale rural healthcare clinics around the world. With our partners, we've identified over 250,000 clinics which fit our operating context, meaning that they either lack electricity entirely or they suffer from frequent electricity grid disruption. But importantly, the majority of these clinics require multiple autoclave devices, and this context exists in other regions, such as the Indian subcontinent, where there are over 150,000 such clinics. We're currently seeking a $750,000 investment, which we've modeled below here. We anticipate units sold to grow from over 2,000 Hyperclave units in 2023 to over 11,000 units by 2025. And given that many clinics actually utilize multiple autoclave devices, we expect that by 2025 to improve safe surgical outcomes at between 8,000 and 11,000 clinics. So this is a few examples of the financial traction that we've received thus far, including a number of grant programs to expand our field trials. And this financial performance is coupled with life-changing social impact. So in the next 5 years, we are on a mission to impact 12.5 million people to benefit from safer surgery. But the impact is much greater when you consider the various interlinkages between healthcare and socioeconomic development. And it's been stated by the Lancet Commission that without urgent investment in surgical scale-up, low to medium income countries will continue to have losses in economic productivity, estimated cumulatively at over US $12 trillion through 2030. And to measure our social impacts, we're doing it through a variety of KPIs, including tracking the number of postoperative infections and the number of successful sterilization cycles completed prior to surgeries. Our international team and network has been key to our success thus far. Saji Zaga brings his experience, his firsthand experience working in sub-Saharan healthcare sector. I bring my experience in sales and operations to the team. Lida, her experience in building partnerships, and Federico, his experience in finance in developing countries. And our advisory board includes Donald Berwick, who is co-founder of the Institute for Healthcare Improvement. He brings with him a comprehensive network of medical professionals. Valuable partnerships and a stellar group of advisors continue to empower us as we work to make safe surgery more accessible at rural healthcare clinics. And through their continued support, we've progressed from what started as a graduate student project in late 2017 to a business presenting at the United Nations headquarters in New York City in September of 2018. These awards and recognition are testament to that. And of course, we're striving for the greatest customer confidence. And that's why we're working towards certifying our technology in partnership with the Institute for Infection Prevention and Hospital Epidemiology at the University of Freiburg Medical Clinic. Additionally, we have partnerships with Ensign College of Public Health in Ghana and LifeNet International in Uganda. We're working with local experts to ensure the efficacy of our device and to make sure that we have the resources necessary to meet all the regulatory requirements where we operate. And key to this process is extensive user interface testing, which is the stage that we're at currently. So thank you for this opportunity to present to you all today. And I hope you'll join us in realizing our dream of making safer surgery a reality worldwide. And please feel free to view our Theory of Change document and learn more about the social and business impact that we're having. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you. Questions are now open for the judges.
Yeah, hey, Andrew. Cool presentation. Really like the idea and the structure that is behind it, and definitely looks like an ace team. How are you thinking about your distribution model, just given that you're focused on a lot of rural areas? What does that look like from all the way to the prototype to manufacturing to actually getting these devices into the necessary hands?
Absolutely. In regards to manufacturing, so you'll see the power system of our device. It's a lithium-ion battery, PV panel optional to provide backup when the power is not available. These battery packs are actually manufactured in Uganda. So one of our partners is converting motorcycles to be electric, which is growing rapidly. So they've already scaled up their manufacturing there, and that would adequately meet our need. The pressure vessel itself, which is where you would put the surgical instruments, that's something that we're outsourcing. We're looking at a number of different manufacturing possibilities in India currently. Regarding distribution, again, it comes down to leveraging the networks that are already in place. So one of our partners is Riders for Health International. They specialize in delivering medical equipment to rural locations throughout Africa.
Got it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
What are your two big challenges to get to your target business model?
One of the more recent challenges has been with the COVID situation, because we are not able to carry out some of the field trials with our health clinic partners. Some of these areas, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, are in lockdown currently, and that's been difficult. So I think you could call that a stability issue. These are difficult areas to operate. That's why we put so much effort into building up our partnership network. There's a lot of expertise that's there in navigating these challenges in low to medium income countries. And we're thankful for those partners to help us navigate them.
Thanks a lot for, it's a very impactful problem to solve. And if I consider one of such a unit, when it comes to the cost and when the rural areas have to pay or someone have to pay for it, what's the dynamics for it? And do you see any challenge in that context?
Certainly. When we first started this project, I believe it would just be a direct to sale to these clinics. Sometimes these clinics use microloans from different providers to help them acquire new medical equipment. Oftentimes they work on a for-profit basis. And so they're actually looking at ways to minimize their own costs, where we have certain advantages as well. But one thing that's quite interesting for us recently is that we've worked with the battery management system of our device. And this is something that allows the clinics to monitor when it's being used, was it run successfully? Eventually, we're going to scale that to being able to collect data on what surgical instruments were sterilized, et cetera. But this may also allow us to have a sort of sterilization as a service model, where we can actually control these devices. The clinics would be able to pay a subscription to access those services, to utilize it, to have data, for all the clinics in their network as well. And that's something very exciting for us. It's early stages because we're still working out some of the technologies with the battery units themselves, but I think it will expand our possibilities as far as the business model goes and to make our device more accessible for clinics.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for pitching, and thank you, judges, for your feedback. We now move on to the next startup. Ariadne, please come on stage.
Yes, I hope you can see my screen. So we are Ariadne Maps. And my name is Hashim. I'm the business development manager. So yeah, I mean, if you're operating a digital business, let's say a website, there are tools like Google Analytics that tracks your visitors so that it can provide you the KPIs, the data, the information to optimize your business, to make the best revenue out of your online business. But for physical businesses, it's kind of a problem because you cannot track people. It's there are privacy regulations, and the technologies, they're not so optimal for this kind of solution because GPS doesn't work well in the localizations, and this is where we get into play. And how we do it, we have our product here, we call them surveyors. And first, we generate a digital version of your map of this, for example, the fire escape plan. We create the digital version, and then we ship the devices, and then that's all. You will just plug the devices in, then we can start tracking and creating analytics about your visitors. So let's assume we install our devices in this mall, and you are the visitor here. You have your phone with you. You don't need to connect any kind of network or install an application. Your phone streams signals. We capture the signals, and then we fuse the data, the signal, with the geometry and the topology of the area. As I said, this is our product. So we get the data, we fuse the data. Now what we do is we provide you with the number of customers in your area, how much time they spend, how often the same people come, the loyalty, the heat map of your area, the transitions, for example, how many people transit from furniture store to clothes store to shoe store, and like this. The popular connections, the most popular locations and the least popular locations, so you can make the best use of your area. The trends over time, the demographics, and the customer funnel. Customer funnel is like how many people pass in front of your store, how many people enter your site, how many engage with your products, and how many end up with buying your product. Well, we're not the only one doing this kind of solution. There is a cloud of solutions here. So let's have a proper look at this cloud. Let's cluster the solutions in their use case. They're either used for navigating people, tracking people, or monitoring equipment in a warehouse or in a hospital. If we cluster these technologies by technology, if we cluster these solutions by technology, they either use smartphone application, you have to install an application, you have to connect to a network or wear some hardware, need to connect to GSM network or use camera-based solutions. About our solution, we don't ask you to install any application, no network, no hardware, no GSM, we don't use cameras, but still we provide navigation, tracking, and monitoring. About competition, as I said, this indoor tracking. So the problem is privacy, and another problem is the accuracy. About privacy, we are certified to be privacy compliant in Germany, in EU, and in the world. And in terms of accuracy, we are benchmarked to be in the best clusters. As we see here, we competed against Google, IBM, and other prestigious companies in indoor position and indoor navigation conference, and we were ranked to be the first. Our market size, according to BIS research, it is expected to reach 56 billion, and the biggest growth is seen in retail with 26 billion, and this is where we actually focus on right now. Our traction so far, these are our customers. We have many projects with Deutsche Bahn, also many malls in Middle East and Germany. We have partnership with Nokia and many airports here. The number you see on the screen is, if you don't have any more customers, if you only continue further projects with our current customers, this is the revenue, this is the monthly revenue that we will get if we can complete all the projects. Our founding team is here. Yorgos Pipelidis and Nikos Tisiamitros. They are expert and they are doing their PhD studies at Technical University of Munich. We have over 15 publications. We have 4 patents. And we have many years of experience in indoor localization and in machine learning. And the advisors on the right top are professors at Technical University of Munich. And we are also part of University of California, Berkeley Skydeck Accelerator. So we have advisors from also this university and from US. They are the industry leaders and professors. And here is our team. We have many skills here, and we have 3 doctors, let's say, they complete their PhDs. We have skills ranging from finance to sales to anonymity to localization. And yeah, this is my presentation so far. If you have any questions, I would like to answer. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Hasim. Go ahead.
Well, I'll go ahead, Hasim. So first of all, thank you for your pitch. I really think you have a great team, a great traction, by the way. When I saw the slide, I reviewed your company on a previous phase. I really said I want to hear them pitching. And that's why I start now by saying that maybe you can improve your pitch in one part, which is the competition, because I think you used a lot of the time explaining the different competitions, and in the end you showed the slide that you could have just showed it in first place, that you beat your competition. So yeah, if some external partners are already stating that your solution is ranked #1 comparing to the other ones, maybe you don't need to lose so much time showing all the different solutions that do the same thing and saying that you don't do this and that. Maybe you can try to shorten it, because maybe you lost me for 2-3 minutes. So you can improve that part maybe.
Yeah,
it's just a comment.
That's a very useful
how important?
feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, how important is the preciseness of the person who's walking through the mall?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, how important is it to understand where exactly the person is? Is it 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meter, compared to other solutions? You know, how important is it?
For example, if it is 10 meters, for example, we are in a store, we are looking at pants or shirts. If the error is 10 meters, then you cannot have like accurate data, so you cannot measure which products he's engaging with. So you cannot make useful information. So the strategy you develop is kind of useless because it's not based on reliable data. So the accuracy is important here. If it is 1 meter, then you can say that, okay, my strategy will, let's say 90% will succeed.
Okay, and you have 1 meter?
Yes, I think 1 month ago it was 1.3 meters, but right now we are supposed to be below 1 meter or almost 1 meter.
Okay, cool. The second question is, does the mobile phone need to be enabled on wireless LAN and Bluetooth or nothing?
Actually, that's a very good question. In our experiments, even if you are in flight mode, we can still detect your location. We can still track your phone, but again, it's privacy compliant. There's nothing to worry. So no application installation, no network connection. You are in the mall, you have your phone with you, you don't connect to anything, still all right.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Hi, Hasim. My question is, because of the crisis currently, the retail industry is severely impacted. Do you have currently clients who are using it for social distancing purposes right now?
Yes, I think you know Edeka in Germany. So we have a pilot with Edeka for social distancing. It's about counting the people inside, and it's like go and stop sign in front of the store, so people can go in or exit like in a social distancing way.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, all. The time is up. So thank you very much, Hasim, for presenting your startup.
You're
Next
welcome.
is Motion Miners. Motion Miners, please come on stage. Sasha, are you there? Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Sasha.
Ah, perfect.
Can you please
share the right minute, I would say.
Perfect. Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Good news, the child has not arrived yet.
Okay, good. Perfect. Are you sharing something with us today, Sasha?
Yes, of course. Just let me find the right button to press. Here it is. Sorry for the short delay. I hope you can see my screen. If yes, just give me a sign.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's start. Just let me stop the time so I know how much time is left. Perfect. This is me, Sasha. I'm from the Dortmund-based startup Motion Miners. And what we usually do lies on the industrial shop floor in warehouses like this, where well-educated people like industrial engineers, lean experts, or Kaizen experts look for important key indicators they currently don't find in the industrial databases of the corporates. And what they're looking for are manual efforts, physical strains, hidden travel times they cannot find inside the database. And how huge this potential is can be seen in a recent McKinsey study where they identified over 3 billion euros worldwide on operation costs only in warehouses. Because over 300 million people work on the industrial shop floor, even though everybody's thinking that is mainly done by robots. And together with this, they identified average yearly saving potentials inside these warehouses of 15 to 20%, which is the really huge drivers for the companies to look for these potentials. And of course, this problem is not only limited to the field of logistics, can be also found in the field of production and in the healthcare area. And due to this, we developed the motion mining technology to analyze manual work processes without standing next to the worker. What we do, we equip the workers and their surroundings with sensors and beacons, and they carry these equipment a whole shift. The data is collected in an anonymous way. During the charging of the devices, the data is transferred into our platform where an AI algorithm we developed is translating the raw data into process insights, which is then presented in an analytics dashboard. The process expert, lean manager, for instance, can use this data set, which is 40 to 80 times more than it currently is, to find potential in terms of efficiency or ergonomics. With help of this whole approach, we developed a product we call Manual Process Intelligence, which is a mobile solution consisting of a hardware, which can be fitted into one case, which can be transported to different sites and processes, and a software platform where you can look into this data and analyze it. This is what the shop floor worker sees. It's the hardware, it is controlled by the shop floor worker, and he starts and stops the measurements and wears the sensors on his wrist and belt. And then the process engineer can see into the platform, have the data analyzed by the algorithm, and can filter it in many different analytics dimensions, ranging from heat maps where you can see what happens where, activities, benchmarks, use of vehicles and tools, and so on and so forth. I brought you a use case from one of our first customers where we analyzed with our technology an order picking process and revealed 20% of the lead time which were waste, so efficiency potential. And these waste were hidden inside the path strategy and the way they handled clearing cases. And together with them, we developed better solutions for these two fields and helped them within 1 year to realize 50% of the savings potentials we identified with motion mining. And to develop our business, we gave ourselves an evolving business model. So we didn't start it with the product business. We started as a consulting services. So we offered not only our technology in the beginning, we also offered our process know-how. And since May of last year, we started the the product business, because then we reached the market fit. And we are planning from beginning of next year to also offer data services. So we also want to monitorize the data we collect, because we already have thousands and thousands of data hours from over 100 industrial processes, which is also very valuable for the customers. Up to now, we are pretty happy with our traction on the market. On the left-hand side, you can see the customer segments we are currently dealing with ranging from OEMs up to logistic service providers. And since we started in October 2017, we sold more than 40 consulting projects and won 15 customers for our product. And here you see some of the companies we work with in these two fields, consulting customers and product customers. And you also can see that we were lucky to win some pitch competition and prizes, and also some funding from the German state. So thank you everyone for paying taxes we are supported with. But from my point of view, the biggest achievement can be seen on this slide, which is that we grow our team from 3 happy founders, which started in the beginning without any investor, only from revenues, prices, and funding, to 30 very high talented and motivated people who are living the Motion Miners dream and trying to make a huge success of Motion Miners. And with this, I would like to end, and thank you all for your attention, and looking forward for your questions.
Yeah. First question is, what are you really looking for? I mean, you're successful, looks like. What are you looking for?
We are looking for extending our network, of course. So getting to know new customers who have potential for, I would say, long-term usage of motion mining. We want to, of course, grow our team further, structure our company, survive Corona. Yeah, I would say also find the way to the next scaling step, because we're pretty sure the next scaling step will be hard to take without an investor. So our plan is to develop everything to a point where we say, okay, now we can take the next scaling step. And yeah, this is what we are looking for, finding the next step.
So you don't have any financial requirements, so to speak, right now, and you're not looking for a specific type of investor, or again, like, what are you looking for from this audience?
So at the moment, we are connected with certain investors, and we talk and discuss with them, but we are not fundraising right now.
One question from my side. Well, when I take a process from end to end and see your manual analysis, the other part will be when you take Celonis, they track more or less on the IT systems, all time records and so on. And at the end of the day, I would say this comes together.
That's true.
No differentiation. So the consultants to have fear with Celonis combined with your area, you don't need any McKinsey and so on. So how do you think, should you not go to Celonis and they be a part of Celonis?
This is really interesting question. We are currently in contact with Celonis. To be honest, we also think that this is a really good match, because we look from different perspectives on the same thing, the working process. Celonis comes from top down, we from bottom up, and together within a customer project, we are currently finding the right track for a collaboration. And yeah, from my point of view, this is a really strong tool set for consultancy. So of course, many companies have own people to carry such analytics themselves, so they don't need external ones anymore. But of course, McKinsey and other consultant firms have also many projects where they could make use of such technologies. So I would say that it's beneficial for both the customers of consultant companies and consulting companies themselves. We can also see this in our customer base because we have currently also consulting customers who license our technology and use it for their customers.
Sasha, thanks for the presentation. I see you have a lot of global clients. What's the obstacle to going to another market beyond Germany for these global clients, in your opinion?
To be honest, we are currently pretty international for such a small company. For instance, we have a customer who has licensed the product in Malaysia, and we need to onboard them during Corona. So it was really challenging, but we made it. And we also have customer projects in Canada, in whole Europe. So we are currently facing the problem of internationalization. And I think this is also somewhere where it comes to the point of being an investment case, because we cannot afford to set up an office here and an office there, because we currently feel the pain of the distance and the different time zones. Because this morning, in the very morning, we had an appointment with our customer in Malaysia, because this was our time window we had.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for clarifying.
Thank you very much, guys. The time is up. Thank you, Sasha. Thank you, judges. Before I move on to our next program, again, we've had some wonderful pitches today, different industries, different segments. Thank you, judges, for your feedback. Thank you, startups, for being so brave and pitching your startup here. As the next steps, we're going to have two sessions. One session will be a closed session for the judges. So TGELF team, if you could please open up the breakout rooms for the judges, I would be very grateful. In parallel, we have something and some entertainment for our viewers here. So we're not going to show you something blank. I will quickly talk about what Mainstage Incubator is in 5 minutes. And then after that, we have two lightning talks. One is all about deep tech startups out of a research organization by Dr. Matthias Unbescheiden from the Fraunhofer Institute. And after that, we have the case for minimum viable brands, not products, by Alexander Ripp of Clear Deutschland. So everyone who's watching, stay here, maybe grab a quick cup of water, a coffee, whatever. But all the judges, I kindly invite you to the breakout rooms. Team TGELF, could you please assign the judges to their breakout rooms, please?
Yes, doing so.
Perfect, thank you. I will. Again, everyone, my name is Sven Wegner. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Mainstage Incubator. What we do at Mainstage Incubator, we help startups scale 10 times faster into new markets. So Mainstage Incubation was founded with the vision of building an innovation bridge between India and Germany. And we ourselves, we're still a startup. So we incorporated in November, but since then we've been on hypergrowth so far. So what started as a bridge between India and Germany soon became a global network of startup ecosystems. Why do we exist? What is our purpose? In Europe, especially in Germany, there are many ways and incorporation types, especially startups, sometimes international startups, excuse me, they face problems of incorporating their startup in Germany because of complex regulatory systems. They don't know the market, maybe some language reservations and so on. That's one reason. The second reason is we wanted to connect local ecosystems because we've identified that even within Europe, or even in Germany, they're siloed ecosystems. So together with Frankfurt Valley, which is one of our partners, and a few other ecosystems in Germany, we wanted to bring that closer together. The ultimate goal, however, on the national perspective is we want to enrich the German economy with new technology and innovation for that Mittelstand segment. Our model is fairly simple. We help in fundraising, in coaching, and ecosystem connectivity. How we do that, I'll talk about that in a bit. But the key core things we've identified is with startups, and I'll just take the India-German startup bridge. In India, how you pitch your business is different than how you pitch your business in Germany. That's where we come in with our cultural training because of our international team. Now, I myself, I'm half Indian, half German. I've lived 8 years in India. I've seen both cultures. So I know when to turn on my Indian brain and when to turn on my German brain. But we also help startups in the evaluation of their company. Thanks to my co-founder's experience in fundraising, and he's been part in the Indian ecosystem for a very long time, he's helping those startups address those problems. So how do we help the startups? We use our 3C approach, which is culture, contacts, and cooperation. The cultural aspect, I've just mentioned that before. With regards to contact, so I myself, I've got 8 years plus enterprise sales experience. I've built up a fair network of corporate connects, but also partners. And we are a partner-driven organization. We love our partners. And with the help of our contacts and the partners, we help startups reach their goal. And again, we mentioned about the global ecosystem. So because of our corporations, we help startups maybe identify the Asian market, the Latin American market, the Australian market, or even the German market. I just wanted to quickly showcase the mix of startups we have in our portfolio. At the moment, we have one mobility startup, which is Untapped. You've seen them today, you pitched them. We have a startup in fintech, YuvaPay. We have MSafe, they're into industrial automation, and Pace Wisdom, they're an elite software development house. But we also support our startups in a totally different other way. For that, we came up with 3 initiatives. One is the Mainstage Startup News. And what we do is we aggregate global startup news into a single platform. Now, we don't want to be a competition for the other startup news providers like TechCrunch, Medium, Sifted. They're all producing great content. The main reason why we have this is we wanted all that data in one single app. Plus, all our startups, they will have an opportunity to advertise on our startup news platform in the form of a banner. That is free. We also have our Mainstage Events brand, where we will in future, and you'll see that very soon, host events. And then we have our closed Mainstage ecosystem matchmaking platform, where we bring all that ecosystem together and do the matchmaking. A few words about the team. I'm not going to talk about me. Debashish Chakraborty, he's my co-founder and COO. He's based out of Bangalore. He's a serial entrepreneur, and Mainstage Incubator is his 3rd startup. Nivea Augustin is our Chief Marketing Officer. And Pedro, you've seen him today. He's our Chief Partnering Officer / ecosystem builder. If you want to connect with us, just Google us or check out on LinkedIn. We'd be open to talk to you. Again, we value our partners. And as you can see, we have got a mix of all of that technology here again. Again, thank you very much, Mr. Unbescheiden, for taking your time. I know you have a busy schedule. Thank you very much for presenting this to us. And yeah, I would say we move on to the next.
Thank you very much.
To the next lightning talk. Up next, I would like to invite Alexander Ripp, co-founder and managing.
Hi, everyone. Anyone still here? I know I'm a bit late because it was just so exciting to judge this stuff, you know, guys. So,
hey, Alexander, there you are. Perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for dropping by.
Yeah, it was very exciting to judge, and it was a very heated debate, very hard decision. So I felt like I should do my job as a juror first before I'm trying to be entertaining to you guys. So apologies for this. Anyway, are you guys still happy to listen in on some of my thoughts?
I think everybody's waiting. So we have been keeping the audience entertained waiting for you. But Alexander, I don't want to waste anybody's time. I would say the stage is yours. You can go ahead and start sharing your screen.
Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to minimize this so you don't have to see all that. Okay, guys. Thanks for waiting around. Sorry again for the delay. Again, your work was quite intense and fun. Thanks again also for allowing me to speak. Sven asked me if I could add another lightning talk, and it's an honor to be able to speak after such esteemed Fraunhofer speakers before, because we hail from our lighter side, which is brand. And I want to talk a little bit about minimal viable brands today. And the health warning I have for you is that I'm going to have to go zip through this a bit because it's based on a presentation I usually take an hour for. So I'm not going to spend an hour on it, just maybe 15, 20 minutes. So that being said, when we talk to founders in the context of founding work, it's always about the recipes for success. And you might or might not have seen this, but the MIT did a study on this, and apparently success actually has a lot to do with luck and other things, and not so much with someone being a genius. So if you've ever wondered if Elon Musk is a genius, and why you're not a genius, it has nothing to do with that. You might be a genius as well. He's just more lucky. So is Bill Gates and all the other guys. But that's a consolation prize if you don't make it. We do think there are some ingredients, and to us, those are really simply put in a Venn diagram. Obviously, usually the work that we do as founders start with a product and a proposition. And also maybe most of the time we worry about how we connect this to a market and an ecosystem. But where we come from, we also think the brand plays a huge role in how we actually elevate the thinking about our product to be a desirable product through the thinking about brand. And it also elevates in terms of markets and ecosystem because it makes you think about the viability of it. So if you answer the questions around why you're here and for whom, and what you stand for and how do you say, the simple as those questions seem, they connect really to all the other questions you have about your product and the markets and systems you play in. It gives you a guiding compass for what it is that you want to ultimately achieve as a company. And so I want to just focus a little bit on some examples that I've come around in the last over 20 years working with startups and corporates alike on these intersections that I've shown you in the diagram. And these are observations, and I just want to put them out there. And to you as successful founders and so on, this might not be quite so amazing because you're doing a great job already. But these are from my side as a consultant, some of the things I've learned. So obviously there's a huge product focus. A lot of these startups that we've seen, they're founded by technically minded people that the last thing they add when they have revenue is the marketing department. And that goes without saying. There should be a people focus and also a real sort of keen understanding of that people are not just people. You have to look at them as buyers or users or shoppers and consumers. And we all are people, but we have different modes in which we go make decisions. So this is true for B2C context as well as B2B. And that being said, there's a huge myth connected with that, which is that people care about facts and functions. And the truth is, engineers or founders care about facts and functions, and we want to tell everyone about the amazing facts and functions that our product has. But the fact is that there's something called the Featuritis Curve, and I don't know if you know this concept. It's actually one concept that Voda has actually converted into a fun ad, and that's the only time you can actually put that many features on an ad because it's actually part of the joke. But there's the idea that you have to give people a little bit of a set of features so they can rationalize the decision they make. But at some point you have to stop because then it's just annoying. And a lot of reasons why PCs sold as well as it didn't sell as well as they did, or why it wasn't working for the brand as well, is because they always put a lot of features on there. Works for nerds, but it's not mass consumption. People actually want an emotional connection to the product and not just a list of features, right? So that connects really well to another myth. And this is, I've tried to find for a more updated example, but it's like there's so many and it's still the best, is people are rational. This is one of the myths that we have. Like if we think that, if we make convincing arguments or rational arguments people will listen to what we have to say and then they'll buy us. And that is not just not true. People are actually really irrational, and Nobel Prize laureates have actually proven this and won Nobel Prizes with this. And it also explains why branding works, by the way, and brand and advertising even these days. And there's a great example I want to share with you, and you might have seen it. This is from Dan Ariely's book called Predictably Irrational. And this is an example from, about 20 years ago, I think, when, not a lot of people were reading newspapers online yet. And this was where you could subscribe to The Economist online. And you had three choices. So either you spend $59 on a online only subscription, which was really diehard early adopters back then, right? 20 years ago, did you read newspapers online? I did, but maybe you did, but a lot of people in the mass market didn't. The second option you had was $125 for just the print subscription. And then as a third option, the print and web subscription for also the same price of $125. So obviously, when I have an audience, I usually ask, what do you think got chosen the most? And I think most of you would also get to this result and would say, well, of course I would use print and web subscription because I am getting both things for free. I need the print because, again, this was 20 years ago, and only the diehards, back then would have, the digital guys, early adopters would have picked 16%. Now, that being said, the logic here would be, well, then we can remove the option that no one chose, correct? So this is the thing that you could, conclude. You can, and when you do, what do you think changes? Well, the result changes, otherwise I wouldn't have it in the presentation. And the fun thing here is that now suddenly 68% of the people choose the $59 option of online only. Only 32% choose the print and web subscription, which it's amazingly relevant to understand how irrational human behavior is, because this impacts the business model. Now, only 32% of the people in the subscription center chose the $125 option and 68 to 59. So you're making a lot less money because you didn't understand how it works. By the way, it works the same way in a bar. Why is there a top shelf in a bar with the expensive liquor no one drinks and one with the cheap booze at the bottom? So you buy the middle stuff. It's the same thing. So let's talk a little bit about innovation, because that is another thing. There's a lot of myths around this, and I feel that in a space like this, when we're talking about startups and pitches, I think it's a really, really important topic. And the first thing is that I see a lot of pitches. I've actually had one of the startups that pitched today tell me the story once that an investor was asking for why their deck didn't include any sort of artificial intelligence or any blockchain idea. And, a lot of, maybe there's investors who asked for this, but there's a lot of BS bingo, buzzword bingo in investor decks these days. And I took this from this buzzword bingo sheet from a digital health publication. And, you see this all the time, and you see visuals like this where literally you think you're back in the Matrix or something, and it feels like no idea can survive today without artificial intelligence or virtual reality. Blink.io, of course, being a very different example, their whole business model is AR, so it makes sense that they have it. But I'm looking for it. It's like, if you want to be interesting today, you need to have some of this stuff. But here's the truth, and that I think is really interesting. You have to look at the core of your offer, and you have to look at what you stand for as a brand. Because using existing technology like blockchain or whatever, without being innovative yourself, is just novelty. And then what happens is you become a product like this. You become a product that no one really needs. And I think that's what the core is. If you understand your audience and you want to know what you stand for your product, you're not going to do stuff that no one really needs, right? And these are just fun products like an indoor sauna or a scissors for pizza, or of course I'm exaggerating now to make a point, but I think you get the point. And that leads to another myth about innovation, which I think is really, really interesting. And it's kind of a coincidence that I put this in here, because, invention does not equal innovation. And I don't want to get into semantics, but there's a reason for why this is important. And I'm going to highlight it with actually two personalities. This one, of course, everyone knows the world famous Steve Jobs. And I'm asking you if you know this guy. Again, if you were a live audience, you could respond. But, this is actually, Matthias, who just held this speech, might know him, because he's Karl-Heinz. and Karl-Heinz was at the Fraunhofer Institute, and he had this job to invent a compression process for audio files that is based on a psychoacoustic model. Now, actually, I summarized this to be simpler. It was actually 3 times as long in the paper that he wrote. Basically, he invented MP3. Okay, and the other guy, Steve at Apple, his briefing was a bit simpler. It was put 1,000 songs in people's pocket. Now, the great thing about this example is, of course, he did it with Karl-Heinz's MP3, basic research that he did at Fraunhofer Institute. Now, who became famous and who made more money? Well, it's the innovator. It's not the inventor. But then again, you know, Steve is not alive anymore, at least Karl-Heinz is. But there's a difference between invention and innovation. I think it's really important as you carry your company forward, because it also goes into the obsession we have with technology proof of concept. We see technology as a driver. It's really important, but not only. If you want to make base research, and if it's all about technology proof of concept, that's really cool. If you want to make money with it as well, don't just consider the technology involved. By the way, this is a graph from that MP3 paper that I took out. It's more like this. And I think the pitches we've seen, they were really all very good on the business model POC side, and they didn't just look at the technology. And I think that's really, really key and really important to consider, to leave sort of the technology idea to the technology side, but leave, make sure that you have a business model as well. Because if you don't, even if you disrupt yourself like Kodak did, this is the example of Kodak, they had 30 years to find a business model after they had a proof of concept in 1984. No, 1986, they invented the digital camera, the very thing that disrupted themselves. Okay, now you have 30 years to come up with a way to make money other than with processing film, and you still don't manage to do it. It's kind of important. I'm just going to keep on going, because I think this is some of the things that we think is important. One other thing that investors ask for is quantitative data. And there's sort of this myth going around in the circles, usually, that quantitative data is more reliable than qualitative data, especially when it comes to funnel-based sort of business models where you have a conversion funnel to manage. And what is true is that quantitative data is more reliable for what is optimization. So if you have a lot of data that shows user behavior in one way and you see there's an issue, then of course you can fix it this way. However, it doesn't really help you understand what happened, what if you did something else. So it's better to talk to some people, and qualitatively, even if it's just 8 people or so, and figure out what would happen and have that dialogue. So know what you're using when, because for a brand, it's not just important to look at quantitative data, it's about where it should go and what if something happened, what if I offered this kind of stuff. And I think that's something you kind of forget when you're in the optimization mode of trying to make those numbers, and the ARR and all these other acronyms you got to do. Those are really important, make sure you do them. But keep the thinking hat on and not just write stuff in there that you think the investors will like. They will also like your ideas on what if they're good investors. Okay, I don't know how I'm doing on time, Sven, but I got one more thing about why you think the brand plays a role. So I'm going to just jump to that. And this is the biggest myth that we have to deal with sometimes when we work with startups. And this is also true for corporates sometimes in their IT departments, and especially in Germany, we have strong DAX, Unternehmen that are still driven by an engineer culture, and and that's great. But a lot of people think that brand equals logo equals branding, right? So, and people don't understand why it takes sometimes a lot of money why to make a logo change. Why it takes a year and a half for a big company like this to change the logo from this to that. Well, it's because a brand actually is more than the logo. It's actually all of the hopes, dreams, things you can influence that happen in the marketplace, and things you cannot influence in the marketplace. The way you're resilient to the changes in what's going on in your ecosystem or in your society as a whole. So what happens when Dieselgate happens? What does that mean? What should we do? Can we just do this? It's a lot of basically psychotherapy. Like brand strategy is psychotherapy for a company in a way. So that's why it takes long. That's why it costs money. Because if you don't know who you are, you have no business being in people's lives. And I think that's why it's not just the logo. Brand means actually all of those things. So what I want to leave you with is the understanding that brand is not branding. It's actually a way to scale your business, your purpose and your story, your product's joy of use, because you know better how you're going to perform in your product for those people you have. It's going to increase your visibility with the branding that you have. So branding is part of that, but it's not the only thing. And of course, internally, if you stand up for those rules, you're going to also increase your employee satisfaction. So I want to leave you with this cheat sheet to get you started. If you want to think about brand and the purpose it drives, you can have this definitely if you contact me again later. This is a cheat sheet of like what you should ask yourself outside of your product development backlog or your technology roadmap or anything that you have planned. You should also answer these questions. That is how does the brand become relevant? How will it be popular? How does it ensure growth and foster change? It's really driven by not just functionally defining what is compelling about your brand and different, but also addressing an emotional deficit that people have. And again, even in B2B, this is true, because especially there where you have relationships that are much more one-on-one, you need to understand what that deficit is that you can solve. Contains an achievable and commercially viable behavior change. We talked about this in two cases of the pitches we had, how behavior change is an important fact to actually allow an idea to grow. That should be part of your brand strategy. And as well, change the world in some way. And we're very happy to see at least 2 or 3 of them today that also wanted to do that. So with that, I'll leave you. Hope this was a bit inspiring and not too fast. I hope you got something out of it. These are just some of the things we learned and I wanted to share with you in this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alexander. Thank you very much for this great presentation. I always, even though I've seen it already, but I every time I see something new and I learn something new, I just love it. I hope the audience who are watching us on live stream on YouTube, but also Facebook, I hope you enjoyed it as well as much as I do it every time. Again, if you want to reach out to any of our jury members, but also to BSH Startup Kitchen or Clear, just look them up on LinkedIn, connect with them. They're there to help. And again, thank you very much, Alexander.
Thank you very much for having me.
Before we go to the verdict, and before one of our jury members is announcing this, I wanted to quickly again thanks to all the team, the T-Gelf team, for this amazing work. Thank you, judges, for taking your time again. I know it's been a long 4 hours now. Thank you to all those startups who pitched in here. I know you gave it your heart. But again, I wanted to thank our partners again, our national partners, Clear Strategy and BSH Startup Kitchen. But also thank you to everyone who's watching here, who took your time here to participate and celebrate this Entrepreneurship World Cup. And again, thank you to Mainstage Incubator, to all the team who made it happen, to our designing team with to get the presentations up ready and the social media banners. Having said so, I would like to invite Klaus Straub onto the stage.
Yes.
And Klaus, we would love for you to talk about the runner-ups. Maybe we can start from the bottom, and then at the very end we can say who actually won.
First of all, let me give you some. I want to also to thank my judge colleagues. I met them this time, the first time virtually. We had great discussions, and I was very happy and learned something new. So it was really great. All presentations were outstanding from all startups. So it was a very difficult process for us from the judges, and in this head-to-head race to vote for the podium. We saw very mature startups in a further step, but also we saw some which are in an early step, which need help and all these kind of things. So we all tried to judge these from different sides and the different experience we had in this judge, and we hope we found the right right rank. Now I start with number 3, and we all said Packet Eco will be number 3 on the podium. Second, we said great presentation and also great idea, and especially from social perspective and from sustainability area. We put Noor Medical on number 2 on the podium. And last but not least, winner today in Germany Startup Entrepreneurship World Cup is Blinkin. So congratulations, all 8 and the winners.
Congrats.
So then, up to you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys. Again, we have our 2 runner-ups. So congratulations again, Packet Eco and Noor Medical. Congratulations to Blinkin, to the winner. I would also now like to invite the TGELF team. Could everyone please come, the whole TGELF team, turn on your cameras and come on stage, please? And also maybe talk about the next step. Okay, I can see Rohan has come in. Where's the rest? I can see Ekaterina. Who else is there? Alice is there, I can see. Rama is there. Who else? I think that's it. And then Vinay was at some point as well here. Again, huge shout out to the team. I think they've done a fabulous job in organizing this thing. We've had several discussions over the course of past few weeks. But again, today, I wanted to say again, thank you, TGELF team, for enduring with us during this period. Thanks for all the support here today. Again, congratulations to all the startups, the runner-ups, and the winners. And Rohan, would you like to maybe come on stage and give us a few closing words, but also the next steps on what it would look like for the runner-ups, but also for the finalist? Rohan.
Absolutely, Sven. Yet again, I've said this a few times, and I'm going to say this again. It's been an absolute honor to be amongst each one of you. Sven, it's been an absolute honor to have you partner with us, and it's been a pleasure working with you. I think that does deserve a shout out as well. Judges, I think I made it amply clear what a huge learning experience it's been. Just being in the judges' briefing rooms with you, hearing your questions. It's been a truly insightful experience. Startups, thank you so much for sharing your innovative solutions and ideas with us of the problems of today. And it's really been a pleasure to see that people are doing interesting things in the world to make the world a better place. And it's been awesome. I just also wanted to share yet again what the winners and what the incentives for the winners are here today. The runners-up, both the runners-up here today are going to be winning $100,000 worth of services with our various partners here at Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, etc. Congratulations yet again on that. You will also get the opportunity to be part of the screening process for the pre-global finals, where we will have a jury who is going to be evaluating a large pool of startups, but you by virtue of representing Germany are going to be two startups who will also hold a chance to make it to the global national final. As for the winners, you are along with the $100,000 worth of services that you are winning by virtue of being in the same pool as the runners-up, you're also winning $700,000 worth in services, and of course, a straight place to the global finals, the global finals. So congratulations to you all, and thank you lastly to the viewers for joining us all here today. It's been truly lovely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rohan. Thank you. Again, thank you very much, everyone. And I can proudly, even though I'm a bit tired, say the session today is concluded. Everybody have a great day. Stay safe and stay well. And always remember, if you go out, wear your face mask. Thank you, guys. Stay safe. Bye.
Thank you, Sven. You rocked. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sven. Thanks all the organizers.